All right, so I want to give you a worked example on how to construct a box plot by hand, given this data set. This is a data set for the number of meteorites found in 10 US states. The first thing I need to do, well, we're going to calculate what's called a 5-number summary. We're finding the highest, the lowest, Q1, Q2, and Q3. The first thing I need to do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. I can then identify the lowest and the highest number. Those are two of the 5 numbers I need. Then I can determine where Q2 is. And since it's 10 numbers, it's going to be the average of these middle two here. Then I can determine Q1 by taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 numbers on the left side. So the middle one would be the third, 47. It's going to be my Q1. And again, the middle number on the right is my Q3. The lowest, highest, and the 5-number summary, the average of 79 or 78 and 89 is 83.5. I can then plot out how to make my box and whiskers plot. And I'm going to do this on a number line so it's done to scale. First, I plot Q1 of 47, Q2 of 83.5, Q3 of 164, and then my whiskers. So the 3 numbers in the middle make my box. The 2 highest and lowest on the outside are the whiskers for the box, and I connect the dots as such. There are websites that will generate these for you, and I'll show you one right now. This is a website called Alcula, and it'll generate a box plot for me if I put my data set in, separating it with numbers. So I've copied it from the earlier slide, and it generates a vertical box plot for me, but yet it's still identical. Mine was shifted horizontally. This one is vertically, and it gives you the pertinent information that we had calculated by hand in the slide earlier. We can also easily generate a box plot in Excel. However, it doesn't provide us the 5-number summary. We can calculate that ourselves, yet generating the box plot is relatively easy. I just take my data set, come over to Insert, Chart Type, let's go here, Box and Whisker Plot, and you can see that it just generates it for me here, and I can read the 5-number summary. So the maximum here is 50, the minimum here is going to be 12, the Q1 is going to be 28, Q2 is 42, and Q3 is going to be 49. So I can also use the commands to tell me the maximum. No, not match, max. Put the data set in here. The min. I can do the quartile. There is a formula for that. Inclusive and exclusive. So we're going to go with inclusive because we want to include all the numbers. I put the array, and then it asks me for the quartile. So and it gives you the values here: minimum, first, median, third, and max are here. So I already did the minimum and maximum, so let's do the first one. And if I come back up here and so this is max, this is min, this is Q1, let's do Q2 and Q3. Right, and I can copy this down. I would have to add my dollar signs in order to make sure that the data set does not continue to shift down as I copy. And then I can adjust it to make this Q2. I can make this Q3. and I can put my inner quartile range, which is the difference of Q3 and Q1. And from there, I can determine if there are any outliers. So the upper limit comes from taking Q3 plus the IQR times 1.5. We don't want it to be any bigger than 1.5 times that. So this is my upper limit. Any number that exceeds 72, 75 is an outlier. Then my lower limit, I'm going to just copy this and massage this equation a bit here. It is going to be the Q1 minus the IQR times 1.5. So that's 6.75. So we don't have any outliers because we don't have a number that's smaller than this or larger than that. Something else that we can do utilizing technology is to have Excel calculate our z-scores for us. So remember, the z-score takes the average from a data sample, converts it to 0, and then tells you how many numbers a particular value is away from 0. Positive numbers are above the mean, negative numbers are below the mean because it works just like a number line. So in Excel, if I come over here to formulas, insert function, I'm going to go choose the standardized one. I could type it in here if it wasn't populated, but since I had recently used it, it's there. The X that I'm going to evaluate is the cell directly to it. So this is going to give me the z-score for the number 12. The mean here, we need to take the average of this data set. And the standard deviation, the formula for that, STDEV.S for sample, and it's the same data set here. Yes, you can fix my typo. Thank you. Okay. If you notice in the formula bar up here, if I try to copy this, it's going to shift everything down one cell. So when I copy it from this cell to the next, I'll show you. Coming here, it shifted my data set down one cell also. I don't want it to do that. So in order to have it not do that, let's come back here. I'm going to add some dollar signs in between the parts that I don't want it to shift. So in between, in front of the A and in front of the 2, that says don't move this data set. If I copy it, always refer back to this location. And again, for the standard deviation, I don't want it shifting either because the data set is located in this group of cells. I add that. I can then come over here, copy and paste it down, and get the corresponding z values for each number in the data set. You can see these negative ones are the ones that are less than the mean. The mean we converted to 0, so if they're negative, they're less. And the ones that are up here are above the mean because they're positive. Another thing that we can utilize Excel for is to calculate percentile ranks. It has 2 options: to use the percentile rank inclusive or the percentile rank exclusive. The functions operate the same way, except the exclusive percentile rank excludes the first and the last value in the array. So the array is the data set. We're not going to use exclusive for this particular worked example here. Okay, so the equation that we're going to be using is %rank.inc. We're not going to use the exc. So if I hit equals percentile rank inclusive, hit my array, comma, the value of x, comma, and the significance, I'm going to use the number 3. Close that, and I have 0%. And again, I need to come back in here and add the dollar signs in front of the range that includes my data set. I don't want that to shift as I'm copying the formula down. So I'm going to come over here now and shift that. And then let's just click on a cell and let's see the data set is still where it should be. So we're good. We did it correctly. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's get out of this. Okay, so 47, the number 47 is in the 67th percentile here. Another thing that we're going to be doing in Excel is generating a summary statistic. And this we need the data analysis for. So if you don't remember how to add that, you can review my earlier video. We come over into data, we pull up data analysis, and we scroll down to where it says, where is it? Descriptive statistics. Okay. The input range, these are both the same data set, so I'm just going to select one of the two of them. I'm going to mark off that I have labels in my row. I want the output to be generated in this workbook. I do have to click this bar and then say, okay, put my results here, wherever it is that I am choosing. I want summary statistics, and the rest of it I can leave unchecked. So I hit OK, and it generates for me. Let's come down here, make this a little wider. It's a summary of the statistic, or the summary statistics for this data set that's here. So I have the mean, the standard error, which we haven't gotten to yet, median, there is no mode. We have the standard deviation, sample variance. We haven't gotten into these, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. And that is a quick overview on some of the other things that we can do in Excel for statistics.